Let me tell you something that changed my life and has transformed the lives of millions. Clarity is power. If you don't know exactly what you want, how can you expect to ever get it? Most people are out there just reacting, drifting, waking up, going through the motions, checking boxes, and calling that a life. But you and I both know you're not here to just exist. You're here to create, to build, to chase something that ignites you. But until you get absolute clarity about what that something is, you're just going to keep running in circles, spinning, busy but not fulfilled. You see, your brain is like a heat-seeking missile. The moment you lock on to a specific target, something vivid, something emotionally charged, it starts filtering the world differently. Suddenly, things that seemed impossible before start to reveal themselves. Opportunities you used to overlook, you now spot instantly. But here's the catch. If you haven't programmed the target, your brain's going to follow whatever random stimulus the world throws at you. That's how people end up living someone else's life, chasing goals that don't even belong to them. So let me ask you something straight up. What do you want? Not what do your parents want for you, and not what do you think you should do. I'm talking about what lights you up. What do you crave when you strip away the fear, the guilt, the pressure? When it's just you, no noise, no distractions, what dream is sitting quietly in your chest, waiting for permission to come alive? Most people never ask themselves that question. Or if they do, they stop themselves the moment it starts to feel too big, too scary, too unrealistic. But that's not clarity, that's compromise disguised as logic. Clarity doesn't negotiate with fear, it doesn't shrink to fit someone else's mold. Clarity is raw, it's bold, and it demands truth, so I'm asking you, get brutally honest, take a deep breath. Drop the act, forget how it's supposed to look. Forget what you've been told is realistic. Forget about the timeline, the how, the who. That all comes later. Right now, I just want you to define the dream. What would your life look like if you were living in alignment with your highest vision? Where would you be? What would you be doing? Who would be around you? How would you feel when you woke up in the morning? If you can't answer those questions with precision, don't expect to feel fulfilled. Fulfillment isn't random, it's engineered. And the blueprint begins with clarity. The reason why so many people are frustrated isn't because they're incapable. It's because they're living in a fog. They have vague desires. I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want more money. That's not a vision. That's a wish list. That's a fantasy, and the universe doesn't respond to confusion. Life gives to the people who are specific. Direct, certain, so be specific. Say it out loud. This is the life I'm building. Write it down, not just in general terms. Make it real. What does your ideal day look like? What kind of impact are you having? How are you growing? What kind of physical state are you in? What are your rituals? What's your income? What's your energy like? Who do you serve? Because when you define it that clearly, you start to activate something powerful inside of you. A part of you that doesn't just hope. It expects. A part of you that stops tolerating anything less than the standard you've set. That's when you stop dabbling. You stop chasing distractions. You stop waiting. You start showing up with intention. With hunger, with fire. But it starts with making a decision. A real decision, not a preference, not a maybe. Not I'll try. A decision that says, this is who I am. This is what I'm creating. And nothing is going to stop me from getting there. And when that decision is paired with crystal, clear vision, watch out, your energy shifts, your language changes. You walk differently, you speak with purpose. You start attracting the right people, the right resources, the right momentum. It's not magic, it's alignment. When you align with your true vision, everything else begins to move in your favor. But clarity won't come to you by accident. You have to sit with it. Ask the hard questions. Dig deep. Do the uncomfortable work of peeling away the lies you've told yourself, the ones that kept you small. Because on the other side of that truth is the power to design your destiny. And when you finally get clear, truly clear, on what your dream is, that's when you take the first real step toward making it come true. Let me tell you what most people don't realize. It's not the goal itself that changes your life. It's the emotional intensity behind it. You can write all the goals you want. You can create the prettiest vision board on the planet. You can repeat affirmations 1,000 times a day. But if there's no emotional charge behind what you want, you won't move. You won't follow through. You'll talk about your dream, but you won't live it. Because we don't do things because we should. We move when something inside of us says we must. That's when the shift happens. That's when you stop negotiating with your excuses. That's when you stop waiting for permission and you start owning your future. You can't just think your way into your dream. You have to feel it in your bones, in your heart, in your soul. Emotion is the fuel, and you've got to pour it into that engine every single day. When your dream is just a nice idea, it's easy to skip the workout. It's easy to procrastinate. It's easy to say, I'll start next week. But when your dream is emotionally wired to who you are, when it's tied to something bigger than you, then quitting isn't an option. Delaying isn't an option. Your standard changes. Your intensity changes. You show up differently because there's something inside you that refuses to settle for less. Think about it. The greatest changes in your life didn't come from just having a thought. They came from a moment of emotional truth. A moment where something clicked, where pain met purpose, where you said, enough is enough. That moment might have brought you to your knees. Or maybe it filled you with a surge of passion you couldn't explain. But either way, it wasn't logic that shifted your life. It was emotion, and that emotion doesn't have to be pain. It can be vision. It can be love. It can be hunger. But it has to be real. It has to matter. Because the stronger the emotion, the more lasting the drive. If your dream doesn't light you up, if it doesn't get your heart racing, then guess what? You won't fight for it when things get hard. And things will get hard. That's why I say get emotionally attached to your vision. Fall in love with it. Make it sacred. Don't just see the picture in your mind, feel it. Feel the freedom, feel the strength. Feel the pride. Feel the contribution. Make it so vivid that it becomes your new reality before it even shows up. Because when the mind and heart are aligned, action becomes effortless. You don't have to push yourself. You're pulled by something greater. Let me be clear. People who achieve extraordinary results aren't lucky. They're emotionally committed. They've conditioned themselves to feel their vision so strongly that the outside world can't talk them out of it. That's what you need. You've got to step into the emotion of your dream before it happens. Not just once daily. You've got to wire it in, anchor it. Train your nervous system to believe it's inevitable, because the mind doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. So if you see it, if you feel it, if you believe it with enough intensity, your brain starts working to make it true. It scans your environment for the resources. It shifts your behaviors. It reshapes your identity to match the future you've already decided belongs to you. But you can't fake the emotion. You can't just say the words and expect magic. You've got to feel the pain of staying where you are. You've got to feel the joy of breaking through. You've got to feel what it would mean not just to you, but to the people you love, the people you serve, the legacy you leave. You want to make your dreams come true. Then stop trying to motivate yourself with willpower and start moving with emotional certainty. Feel it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your dreams are not optional. They are the path to your fullest self. And the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the level of emotion you're willing to bring to the table. You don't need more time. You don't need more strategies. You need more emotional fire. Light it up and keep it burning. Every single day. Because when your dream becomes a must, not a maybe, that's when the world starts to move with you. Let me tell you the truth that most people don't want to hear. Your dream is only as real as the action you take for it. Wishing doesn't work. Hoping won't get you there. Visualizing is powerful, yes, but only if it leads to action. And not once in a while action. I'm talking about massive, consistent action. Every single day. You can have the clearest vision in the world. You can feel it deeply in your body. But if you don't back it up with action, it stays a fantasy. And let me be real with you, dreams without execution are just lies we tell ourselves to feel good in the moment. If you want real change, if you want to turn that dream into something you can touch, taste, live, breathe, you have to be willing to move. Most people are waiting for the perfect moment. They think they need to feel ready. They think they need more time, more skills, more support. But let me ask you, when has perfection ever arrived? When has waiting ever worked? It doesn't. The people who make their dreams real are the ones who decide to move before they feel ready. They move through the fear, not around it. They use the fear as fuel. And the difference between those who get results and those who don't. It's never about talent. It's about the willingness to show up and keep swinging, no matter what. You've got to get addicted to momentum. Because motion creates clarity, action creates feedback. You can't figure everything out from the sidelines. You've got to get in the game, make the calls, take the hits, adjust, and keep going. Consistency builds identity. Every time you take a step toward your vision, no matter how small, you reinforce to yourself, this is who I am now. That's how change sticks. That's how breakthroughs happen. It's not about giant leaps every day. You don't need to climb the whole mountain in one move. But you damn well better take a step every day. Because the moment you stop moving is the moment doubt creeps in. And doubt is a liar. Doubt will sell you comfort. Doubt will talk you into safety. But let me remind you, nothing grows in comfort. Nothing great ever came from staying in the same place. And yes, you're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're going to mess up. Good, that's part of the game. That's part of the process. Every failure, every setback, every mistake. It's feedback. It's data. It's the universe testing your hunger. Are you serious about this dream? Are you willing to get up one more time than you fall? Because if you are, there's nothing you can't create. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need a perfect strategy. You just need to move. You need to start. You need to do the thing today that your future self will thank you for. And then do it again tomorrow. Stack those wins. Stack that confidence. That's how champions are built. Not in one grand moment, but in the repetition of small decisions made with massive intention. Let's cut through the noise. You already know what you need to do. Maybe you've been avoiding it. Maybe it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's hard, but that's exactly why you need to do it. Because on the other side of that resistance is everything you're looking for. Progress is not convenient. It's not always fun, but it's always worth it. And it's always available to you. If you're willing to act. So let this land. You're not going to think your way into your dream. You're going to work your way into it. You're going to sweat. You're going to stretch. You're going to show up even on the days you don't feel like it. Especially on those days, because that's when it counts most. That's when you separate yourself from the crowd. And if you fall behind, get back up. If you mess up, learn and keep moving. The dream doesn't demand perfection. It demands progress, relentless progress, ruthless commitment, action that compounds over time until you look up one day and realize you built the damn thing. It's real now because you made it real. And that's the power of massive, consistent action. When it becomes who you are, success becomes inevitable. Let me tell you something that will change your life if you let it. Your past does not equal your future. I don't care what's happened before. I don't care what mistakes you've made, how many times you've failed, who doubted you, what trauma you've been through. You are not your story unless you keep reliving it. And too many people are doing exactly that. They wake up every day wearing a name tag that says, "I'm broken," "I'm too late," "I've already tried." They repeat the same inner dialogue, the same emotional patterns, the same limitations, like a broken record playing a song they don't even like. But here's the truth. You are the author. You hold the pen. The only reason you keep living the same story is because you keep reading the same page. You've got to make a decision right now to let go of the story that's keeping you small. That story that says, "I've always been this way," or "It never works out for me," or "I'm not like them." That story is a cage, it's a lie, and you've been dragging it around like a weight, wondering why your dreams feel out of reach. You want freedom, you want to create something extraordinary. Then you've got to trade in your history for your destiny. You've got to stop letting your past define what's possible and start using it as fuel. Because, hear me, you can't change what's behind you, but you can decide in a single moment to change what's ahead. And that moment, that power, it's here, now with you. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need someone to tell you you're allowed to break free. You don't need closure. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to interrupt the pattern. One decision can rewrite everything. One shift in identity. One declaration of, "I will no longer be a prisoner of my past. I will become a creator of my future." And that shift begins when you stop telling yourself that old, tired story and start creating a new one. One that aligns with the person you're becoming, not the person you were. That's how transformation begins. Not with external change, but with internal alignment. A new identity, a new standard, a new belief about who you really are. See, your dream doesn't care about your past. Your purpose doesn't care about how many times you've been knocked down. The future you're craving isn't holding your history against you. It's waiting for you to rise up, waiting for you to take the lessons, not the wounds, and use them to fuel something greater. Because every pain you've experienced, every disappointment, every setback, it wasn't for nothing. It was preparing you, sculpting you, sharpening your vision, your grit, your empathy. Nothing was wasted, but you have to decide to stop being the victim of it and start being the owner of it. You've got to say, "That chapter shaped me, but it doesn't define me. And now I write the rest of the story." And don't misunderstand me, rewriting your story doesn't mean pretending the past didn't happen. It means you no longer give it the power to control you. You learn, you grow, you release, and then you move forward powerfully on purpose. There's a version of you, already inside, who doesn't carry that old identity. That version of you has the energy, the confidence, the vision, the courage to build the life you've been dreaming of. But to meet that version of you, you've got to leave the old one behind. You've got to kill off the excuses, the doubts, the guilt, the shame, the old labels. They don't belong to you anymore. They're not part of your story unless you let them be. So what story will you write now? The one where you let fear run the show? Or the one where you step into your power and reclaim the life you were born to live? That choice is yours, and it's available to you in this moment. You don't need 10 more years of healing. You don't need to wait until you're ready. You're ready the moment you say, "I'm done living the old script." This is your reset. This is your breakthrough. This is the moment you stop running from your past and start running toward your future. Because the greatest freedom you will ever experience is not in changing the world around you. It's in rewriting the story within you.